Greenlight Network presents Football Time.
Hey, and welcome to the Football Time podcast. We're here with our man, Dynamite David, our final real college football podcast of the year. The Bowl Pick'em Show. I don't know how many of these bowls will be played, but we're going to go over them right now to get them out of the way. All right, let's go into last week's final picks. A tough week for the Dynamite. Didn't close the show great, but went 1-3 overall. He stupidly went with that Mizzou game. I told him to stay away from games that have no meaning. He couldn't resist. Mizzou was a loss. He did have the Tulsa game, though.
Boom goes the Dynamite.
Plus the 14. USC -3 was a loser. The Coastal Carolina game, sadly, was canceled. We didn't get our final showdown. And Buffalo, the MAC, once again, topsy-turvy in the championship game. All of a sudden, the Buffalo Bulls could not score. So that was a loss. 1-3 overall. You finish up the year 44-47-1. I finished the year on a 3-0 streak. My boys, Northwestern, did not allow Ohio State to score and covered that 20 points. Clemson minus the 10.5 was a winner, and we both agreed on Tulsa at plus 14. My final was 47-36-2. It wasn't too bad a year. You just closed a little slowly there at the end, but I thought in the middle you really found a good system. You were pretty hot there for a good stretch.
You know what I'm going to blame it on is I started diving into college basketball, and I think it was diverting some of my attention.
The college basketball got you, which, well, that's okay. We'll move on to the bowls, a whole new slate. We'll see how we do in the bowls. We're going to pick all the bowls. We'll do that record, and then we'll have our best bets, and we'll see how those bets record turns out. All right, so you ready to kick it off? Two bowls. If one has already been played, one is technically started as we're recording this. So
yeah, I've got it on across the room. It's Tulane and Nevada, still 0-0. So nothing too exciting going on there yet.
No, nothing too exciting. All right, so we'll start out with the night game tonight. Central Florida, BYU. I don't know what bowl this is. I don't have the names of all these bowls, but we'll just call them bowls. Central Florida, BYU. BYU is a 6.5 point favorite. What are you thinking here?
I'm thinking BYU is definitely the better team here, but I'm wondering how much they actually want to be here. I think I'm going to go with BYU. I think they win by a touchdown. But you know, they had their big letdown against Coastal, so I think it all depends on if they want to be here or not, and if they want to finish up the season with a good win. But I'm going to take them winning by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I thought this was a tad too many points, so I'm going with Central Florida plus the 6.5. I feel like this one will be a shootout, lots of points trading. So 6.5 seemed like a tad too high, so I'm leaning with Central Florida here. All right, we'll move on to a really exciting one. I know you're ready for this one tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Louisiana Tech, Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern is a 6.5 point favorite. Where are we with Louisiana Tech, Georgia Southern?
I'm going to roll with the favorites here again. I think Georgia Southern's been a pretty solid team for their normal expectations. And I think they're going to want to finish the season strong here, and I think they get the win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah. I have no idea in this one because I have not a clue whose motivation is higher to play in this game on Wednesday. So I think Georgia Southern's the better team from what I've seen all year. So I'll just ride as well with Georgia Southern. The 6.5 seemed a little high, but I really have no earthly idea whatsoever who to take in this game. But Georgia Southern, we're going with minus the 6.5 for me as well. All right. Next up, a horrid mismatch of a bowl game. Also on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Memphis plays Florida Atlantic. I'm not 100% sure why Florida Atlantic is in a bowl game, but whatever, to each their own. I hope they have fun. Memphis is 8.5-point favorites. Where are you going here?
I think what I'm doing here is on these ones where I'm just kind of taking a shot in the dark, I'm going to ride with the favorite again. Real bold of me, but I'm going to take Memphis minus 8.5 here. I think they're the better team, but really I think this is just a roll of dice, honestly. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, Memphis opened as 10.5-point favorite, so it's been bet down a little bit. But I can't take Florida Atlantic here. They are nowhere near in the class of Memphis. So even though this is really big, I'm going to take Memphis here at the 8.5. Florida Atlantic closed the season losing 45-31 to Southern Miss and 20-3 versus Georgia Southern. So I don't quite know their motivation to play in this bowl game. The Crampton Bowl, I looked it up. I was very curious what bowl this was. The Crampton Bowl. So should be an exciting contest.
What is Crampton?
I have no idea. I'm just reading what the name was, the Crampton Bowl. I can't even find where it's located. So, all right, we'll move on past that. I think we both got Memphis. The next one, I think this is actually a little bit of a decent contest, though the spread's a lot larger than I thought. Hawaii at Houston, and Houston is 11.5-point favorites here.
Well, see, this is moved because I've got 13 points.
Oh.
And I actually
got to get on it quick before the lines move all over the place.
Yeah, I haven't put all these down yet, so I'm missed out on that. So I guess I'll have to roll with an 11.5 or maybe even less when it goes. But I actually like Hawaii here. For some reason, I think that's a lot of points. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I see them staying within 10.
Yeah, I definitely think this Houston will not cover this. That's way too big a spread. This Hawaii team is not great, but they play close games. So I think they'll be able to stay with Houston, and Houston has a knack for not blowing anyone out. This is the New Mexico Bowl in Frisco, Texas. So you figure that one out. I'm guessing it probably had to be moved. So,
well, they're playing the Rose Bowl in Dallas. So
yes, I know, but at least that doesn't have the actual name of the state in the title of the bowl. So the New Mexico Bowl in Frisco, Texas. That should be an exciting one. We both have Hawaii there. Next up, pretty decent game of medium-sized schools. Marshall at Buffalo. Buffalo is a 3.5-point favorite. They let you down in the MAC championship game. Will they bounce back here in the bowl game?
Yes, I thought this spread would be bigger. Honestly, I think they bounce back and get a big win over Marshall.
Yeah, I think they do too. Or I think this is definitely a good place for Buffalo. Now, I'm saying that as I'm assuming the Buffalo running back plays. If the Buffalo running back plays, I will alter my choice quite quickly.
I get a free out on that if he backs out and opts out. I get to take that bet off. But he is their team. Although
Yeah.
they have the highest rated offensive line in the country, but I guess that's probably due to the fact that they have the best running back in the country.
Yes. This is the Camilla Bowl. Camilla Bowl on Christmas Day. So everyone pass the NBA, pass the NFL, and watch the Camille Bowl at Buffalo and Marshall. So we're both riding with Buffalo here. All right. Next up, what do we got? We have an exciting contest. This one I really was excited for. South Carolina, UAB. What a bowl game.
Normally you get past these terrible bowl games after the first couple days, and it seems like they're going a little deep into the year this year.
When we were looking them up and I was writing them down, I had to double take. I was like, why the hell is South Carolina playing UAB in a bowl game? But the Gasparilla Bowl, it should be a fun contest. UAB is a 6.5-point favorite. Where are you leaning here?
I'm leaning UAB. I don't think South Carolina has much to play for. They're lacking their coach, and I think UAB wins this by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm just taking the points in South Carolina. UAB's played better this year, but I'm assuming South Carolina has better talent. But that's burned me a couple times this year, assuming South Carolina has better talent. But the 6.5 seemed like a lot. And if I was highlighting bowls that I think will not be played and canceled, this would be on the top of my list. Okay, we'll move on to Western Kentucky at Georgia State. Western Kentucky is a 3.5-point underdog. Georgia State, 3.5-point favorite here. Where are we sitting? Western Kentucky, Georgia State.
I like Georgia State here. I think they're the better team and they get the win. I'm a little nervous about covering that point spread because I think it'll be a tight one. But I'm going to take Georgia State.
Yes, I am going with Western Kentucky, and my basis is I just want points. I have no clue who the better team is, so I'm taking points here. The Lending Tree Bowl. This is the Lending Tree Bowl, so an exciting Lending Tree Bowl game. I'm going Western Kentucky plus the 3.5. You want Georgia State minus the 3.5. That should be a good duel. And
I'll tell you what, I think some of these bowl games, I mean, there's no telling what we're going to get. We're opening up a whole box of some of these games, man. You got to be really into college football to watch.
Well, it's your job now. I want you to watch every one of these bowl games, and I want an in-depth analysis when we come back at the end of the year.
I'll have a few pages of breakdown on each game.
All right. I definitely want one on this one. This is easily the most lopsided bowl I've seen, possibly ever. Lafayette is playing UT San Antonio. They are 13.5-point favorites. The only thing I'd say here is I don't know what the hell Lafayette's motivation is for this game other than to win, but UT San Antonio is an awful team, and Lafayette is much, much better. But 13.5 is a lot of points.
I'm gonna take Lafayette to cover those points. I think they're angry that they didn't get their rematch against Coastal, and they're going to take it out on San Antonio, and they're going to win big here.
Yeah, this is the First Responders Bowl, so I think I wrote down Lafayette, but I don't really like taking 2 touchdown favorites in bowl games, but UT San Antonio is awful, so I have no choice.
I would take this if even it was 21 points. I would still take Lafayette. I think they're going to bury San Antonio.
Yeah. All right. We'll actually move on to one that is almost half interesting and enticing and should have been played earlier in the year. It got bumped off the COVID list. Liberty at Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is a 6.5-point favorite. Where are you with this one? This is actually a good matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. I'm intrigued to watch this. Hugh Freeze is already getting mentioned in a lot of coaching positions. We'll see if he sticks at Liberty or not. But I think, when I first looked at it, it was a 7-point spread, and I was really torn. But now that it's dropped under 7, I think I'm going to ride with Coastal to win by at least a touchdown here.
Yeah, I couldn't make up my mind in this one. I'm going with Liberty plus the 6.5 right now. This game is 5 days away, so my mind can be changed really quickly. It really just depends how Coastal comes out. I think they're the better team, but they got sort of bowl snubbed here. They're playing a crappy bowl game on December 26th, so not probably the bowl a undefeated team was looking at. So I'm going with Liberty and taking the points right now, but if I think Coastal's motivated, I definitely would switch to them. Okay, next one. These are two well-known teams. How good they are, I don't know. How motivated they will be to play in this bowl game, I don't know. But Oklahoma State, Miami, Florida. Oklahoma State is favored in this game by 2.5. Where are we with this one?
I think I'm going to roll with Miami here. I think I trust their offense a little bit more and their playmakers, and I like them getting points here.
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't quite understand why Oklahoma State was favored. They'd been terrible to close the year, but I'm riding with Miami plus the 2.5 for sure here. Next one up, the spread's lopsided, but I think it's probably a halfway decent matchup. Texas at Colorado. Texas is 9.5-point favorites. Where are you with this?
Again, man, these lines are moving. I looked at it this morning, and Colorado was getting 11. I should have got in on that when I saw that, but I really like Colorado here. I think they had one game where they just didn't come out to play against Utah, but other than that, Colorado's looked really good this year, and Texas has been really up and down, and I think Colorado gets the win here. It could be a close one, and I also really like getting those points, so I'm going to go with Colorado.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Colorado getting the points here. I thought that was a really bloated spread, which makes sense. It opened at 12.5, and it's already shot down to 9.5. So,
and they've had the last 3-4 weeks off too.
Yes,
I think that Utah game was the last game they played.
It was. They probably should have found a way to put them in the Pac-12 championship game, but the Pac-12's ineptness, probably a podcast for a different day. We'll move on to possibly the weirdest bowl game, and I would just like to see the viewership numbers on this one. Wake Forest versus Wisconsin. Whoever thought this was an enticing matchup to watch, I don't know. But anyway, Wake Forest, Wisconsin, 6.5 for Wisconsin. Where are you?
I'm going to take the 6.5 for Wake Forest, and that's basically all I'm going by here because I don't think very highly of either of these teams, but I'm going to take the 6.5 points.
Yeah, I think I went 6.5 points Wake. I really have no earthly idea how this game's going to play out. One team can only score points and can't defend, and one team can't score points at all and can only sort of defend. So I guess an interesting concept clash of styles, but really overall a terrible game and probably none that anyone will watch. All right, we'll move on to one that was interesting, especially spread-wise. Iowa versus Mizzou. Iowa's 14.5-point favorites. As bad as Mizzou has been, that seemed quite a busty little spread there for an Iowa team that I don't think should be favored by 2 touchdowns over anybody.
I think Iowa's getting the benefit here of playing in the Big Ten, and I'm not so sure how strong the competition they've been playing against this year is. And I'm definitely going to take 14.5 in Missouri here. I think their offense is a little inconsistent at times, but I think they're going to be good enough to stay within 14 for sure.
Oh, yeah. I definitely am taking Missouri here. As bad as they sort of let me down a couple weeks ago, I still think their offense will be able to hang with mediocre teams like Iowa. It's when they play actual good teams that they sort of suck. So Missouri plus 14.5 seems like a nice spread to hang your hat on. All right, probably one of the best matchups of the bowl season. Oklahoma at Florida. It loses a little juice because Kyle Pitts has already decided not to wreck his NFL career by playing a meaningless bowl game. But Oklahoma, Florida. Florida's 2.5-point favorites. Where are you going here? I couldn't really make a decision because I don't know how this game's going to play out other than there will probably not be much defense played.
Yeah, I was really torn on this. I know I just saw, Florida just got hit with a year probation for recruiting violations. And, but I think this is really going to be the Trask versus Rattler show. Probably no defensive stops. I can't remember what the over under was at. I think it was like 77, something like that. But it was moving pretty good. But I'm going to go with Florida here just because I trust their playmakers a little bit more than Oklahoma's.
Yeah, I chose Oklahoma, but that's mostly because Pitt's pulled out. So I guess Oklahoma might have a little bit of a leg up, but really.
I think Trask really proved that, he played really well those few games that Pitts was out this year. So I'm going to I think that experience that he had, he proved that he can get the ball to other playmakers too. So that's another reason why I lean Florida.
Yeah. The only thing whoever has the ball last in this game is probably winning the game because I don't foresee anyone stopping anyone on either side of the ball here. All right. A decent matchup. Tulsa at Mississippi State. Tulsa is 2.5-point favorites. Where are you?
I like Tulsa. I know that, they've played a weird schedule and, but I think they've got a good defense. And I think that's a pretty small spread. What did you say it was at now? I saw them at 2.5.
It's 2.5 still for Tulsa.
Yeah, I like that being under 3. I think they win this game and they cover the 3 or 2.5.
I went Mississippi State just because I liked the way they closed out the year versus Missouri. They looked finally like a sort of Mike Leach type offense, but they could easily revert back to their terribleness that was their midseason form. But if that offense is clicking like Mike Leach likes, I think they're maybe a little better than Tulsa. But just an interesting matchup. This is actually a bowl game I'd be curious in watching just to see how the sort of styles play out. Tulsa's really good on defense, and Mississippi State looked to sort of get their offense going a little bit towards the end of the year there. All right, possibly the weird matchup on the slate. Two good teams. I just don't know. I'd like to look back in the archives the last time these two teams played each other. Ball State is playing San Jose State. San Jose State is 7.5-point favorites. Where are you going here?
I like the 7.5 points with Ball State. I think they went through the MAC schedule pretty well, finished off with a big win against Buffalo, and they're going to be riding in hot. And I look for them to get the win over a good San Jose State team.
Yeah, I thought this was a little high. I think if it probably been 6, I probably go San Jose State. But that extra 1.5, I think this will be a tighter game than people think. But so I'm going Ball State.
I may jump on the money line on Ball State here. I really think they win this game.
Yeah, it will. This one, weird teams, but might be an interesting game to watch for sure. All right. Next up, the West Virginia Army. West Virginia 7.5-point favorites. Interesting spread. I don't know. We've seen West Virginia play very sparingly in the last couple weeks, so I don't know what sort of state their football program is in. Especially the last time we saw them, they were getting rolled by Iowa State, but that was like their first game in like 3 weeks, and then they haven't played since. So weird sort of spot for West Virginia here. Where are you on this line?
I was torn on this one as well, but I'm going to go with West Virginia minus the 7.5. I just more because I have no confidence in Army's offense. They, even when their offense is, I guess, say running good. They're maybe a 14 to 21 point team. And that's on a good day for them. So I'm going to take West Virginia and the minus the 7.5.
Yeah, I was really torn on this one. If West Virginia is there to play, I think they cover this pretty easy. But I'm very nervous. This Army team wanted to go to a bowl game, and they're getting to go to a bowl game. I don't know what the motivation is here for West Virginia. So I'm going to ride the points with Army, thinking they will at least play hard. I don't know what West Virginia's motivation will be. So I'm going Army plus the 7.5, but it would be very low confidence. All right, interesting Southwestern Conference matchup, old school. We're going 80s style football here. Arkansas TCU, really weird spread. I don't even think I've made fully my decision yet, so I was going to wait on yours and see what your take on this game was. I really rode TCU hard the end of the year because they started playing well, but now they're on a break and playing a worthless bowl game. So I don't know if that sort of high motivation continues. 5.5 for TCU. What do you like here?
Yeah, it's like you said, TCU's been streaking the good way here to close out the season. Arkansas started off pretty high, and then they've got some ugly losses down the road. So I'm actually going to ride the hot team in TCU here, minus the 5.5. I think they've got things clicking, and they win this one.
Yeah. All right. You're going with TCU. That gives me the confidence. I'm going with TCU. I'll ride them to end the year. That number was weird. That 5.5. I think if I could have gotten a 3, maybe even a 4, I would have been confident. But that 5.5 just sits in a weird dead zone. And I was like, I don't know. But if you like it, I like it. We're riding TCU to end the year.
I think they figured their offense out, and that's really helped them. And I think had they played this way earlier in the season, they could have been in that competition for the Big 12 title.
Yeah, definitely. The way that offense was humming towards the end of the year, they were definitely one of the best teams in the Big 12 by the end. All right, a big game, Cincinnati, Georgia. Cincinnati, 6.5 point favorite. I see 7 here. Let's go with 7. 7 point favorites for Georgia. No, you want the 6.5. He wants the 6.5. I want the 7. I think.
No. What I was saying is you were saying that Cincinnati was favored. So I was like, no.
Oh, no. Cincinnati is not favored. Georgia is favored.
I'll take the 7 because that's what I have wrote down.
Yeah.
But, I like Cincinnati here. I think they're the team here with something to prove. Georgia's in another New Year's Day bowl. This is kind of ho-hum for them, but it's not the one they want. So I'm going to take Cincinnati, and I like that 7 points.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati as well. I really like this. Plus, I'm already ready for the Cincinnati to win, and everybody goes, well, Georgia, they didn't want to be there. That's why Cincinnati won. No one will ever give Cincinnati credit for this year. But I honestly think Cincinnati's probably the better team, and I think they'll shut down that Georgia offense pretty easy.
I tell you what, I much rather would have seen Cincinnati play either Clemson or Alabama than Notre Dame play Alabama, for sure.
Yes, definitely. I think the spread would tell you that. All right, moving on. This one, while on paper, 2 good teams, will probably be a quite dreadful game to watch. And anyone who watches this game is quite the masochist. Auburn versus Northwestern. Northwestern, 3.5 point favorites. I'm very curious on your take. I went with points, but
that's what I'm going to ask you. Do you have the over/under with you there?
I can look it up real quick.
Because I want to lean under here because these are 2 ugly offenses. You've got Bo Nix going against the slowest Big Ten offense probably they've got. So, but I like Auburn getting points here. I think there's SEC skill positions are going to prevail here. But I might take the under as well, depending on what that's looking like.
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm on Auburn. I'm not happy with it. The over/under sits at 43.5 right now. So my guess is it might be under 40 by game time. So if you want that, you jump on that because it might be sitting in the 30s by the end of the day. But yeah, I'm going to ride Auburn just because the points. I think this will be a close and very disgusting game to watch, and probably not entertaining in the least bit. So I'd advise not watching this and watching the playoff games afterwards. All right, we're moving on to the big playoff game, Notre Dame, Alabama. Alabama 19. I can't even say it with a straight face. The playoff game has a 19.5-point spread, and it'll probably be in the 20s by the time the game kicks off. Alabama 19.5. Where are you going?
I took that 19.5 as soon as I saw it because I know that's going to go up even higher. It'll be above 20. I bet on some sites it's already over 20. Alabama is going to absolutely destroy Notre Dame here. I think they do whatever they want in this game. Now, they may get a huge lead and lay down, but I don't see any way Notre Dame's going to hang with them at all.
Yeah. The only thing that would concern me, Bama puts 28 on them in the first quarter, and, then it's pack it in and prepare for the championship game, and maybe Notre Dame, nicks a touchdown here or there to backdoor this would be my only concern. I definitely would be all over a first half Alabama for sure, because I think they'll come out, roll them, and that I have to go with Alabama, but that's a very large spread, and bad things can happen once this game gets over with, and Notre Dame just wants to feel plucky and make this thing look a whole lot closer than it actually was. All right, we'll move to the next one. This one's at least a little bit of a tighter spread, but I'm definitely jumping on this one more than I'm jumping on the Alabama. They at least did their job and scared me off a little bit of Alabama with the 20 points. But Ohio State versus Clemson. Clemson is 7.5-point favorites. Who are you taking here?
I'm taking the favorites here as well. I think this is another lopsided playoff game. I think hopefully the playoff committee realizes their mistakes when they get two games that everyone changes the channel away from about halfway through the game. Clemson wins big here.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I think Clemson rolls this game, and I'm not as worried about the backdoor cover because I think Clemson runs this up pretty big here too to make a point about Ohio State probably shouldn't be in this game. I'm more disappointed Ohio State's in this game than I am Notre Dame. At least Notre Dame has a win over Clemson and had played a 10-game schedule. Ohio State has wins over Indiana and Northwestern as their bell cows.
Yeah, and those weren't even really those were tight games. I've not really been impressed with this Ohio State team. I think they got a lot of credit just for their reputation, and I think they're going to get rocked here.
Yeah, they have fancy names who will be in the NFL, so they must be good, and I'm not quite sure they're all that good.
I think Fields got exposed a little bit in this last game against Northwestern.
Definitely. All right, we're back on the god-awful train here. And once again, why this is a game being played, I don't know. Why it's a game being played after New Year's confuses me even more so. And NC State, Kentucky, 2.5 for Kentucky. I had no earthly idea, nor do I have any idea of the motivation of either team here. But you give me your take.
It's a tough one here. Both of these teams, it's you don't know what you're going to get each time they roll out there. But I think NC State's got a little bit more of a consistent offense. Kentucky, they can go games without even moving the ball. So I'm going to take NC State plus 2.5 here.
Yeah, I still have no idea who to pick in this. I figured once we'd get to it, I'd make my decision, but I don't know. I guess I'll ride Kentucky, but I have little to zero faith, and nothing in the world would make me bet on either one of these teams in this bowl game. It is just a total random who will decide to show up on January 2nd. So no idea here. This one's a little fun on paper, I think, this next one. It once again is also being played on January 2nd, which just seems weird to me. But NFL playoff games will probably be going on. I can tell you where my eyes will be, and it won't be on an Ole Miss and Indiana bowl game played on January 2nd. But nonetheless, Indiana 6.5-point favorites. But I expect at least an entertaining game here. Where are you?
Yeah, I really wish Penix were going to be in this game. I think that would have made this a much better game. And being that, I think Indiana's offense has really just been fluttering ever since he left. And Ole Miss has proven they can score the ball a lot. I'm going to take Ole Miss in the points here.
Yeah, I would say, though, Ole Miss defense is a cure for all fluttering offenses. So, but also I thought this was a little too high for Indiana. So as much as it pains me to take Ole Miss, I'm taking Ole Miss plus the 6.5 as well. All right, moving on. Oregon, Iowa State. Really weird game. Big 12, Pac-12. Sort of mediocre Big 12, Pac-12, but in a big bowl game, nonetheless. 4.5 Iowa State. I didn't like the line, but much like some other ones, I had no idea who to take here. Where are you going?
Oregon just won their championship game, but I think they benefited from USC, their consistent ability to play down to their opponent. This Oregon team has not looked good compared to Oregon teams as of late. I like Iowa State here minus the 4.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ride Iowa State in this game's now like 3 weeks away, though. If there are coaching changes, proverbially Iowa State coaching changes, I might change my tune a little bit, but right now I think I'm going to ride Iowa State minus the 4.5. It seems like probably the safe pick here. All right, our last bowl game on the slate. Texas A&M, UNC. Texas A&M 7.5-point favorites. Interesting game. Should be a lot of offense. Motivation-wise, I don't know where Texas A&M sits, but I'm curious your thoughts on this one.
I really lean towards A&M here, just from UNC's ability to just, I don't know. UNC's looked very good at times and very bad at times, and A&M's been a little middle of the road. They've played a lot of SEC games close. I think that's why they didn't get some of the recognition that they think they deserved. But I'm not gambling on this game. That's for sure. Because you don't know.
The club.
I don't like those points, but I'm going to go. If I have to pick one, I'm going to go with A&M minus the 7.5.
Yeah, I'm just taking the points because I think North Carolina could backdoor this even if they're getting blown out. They do their little Mac Brown thing where they at least make every game somewhat entertaining. So I'm just riding the 7.5, but there will not be any money wagered on this game whatsoever. All right, so those are our bowl picks. Let's go into your best bets. What do you really like this bowl season?
All right, let's see how many I've got that I've marked here. I've got 9 of them. I don't know how many you've got.
I've got 9 of them. We're on the same wavelength.
You want to start us off?
All right. I'm going with tonight. I'm going Central Florida plus the 6.5. We're starting off.
I'm staying away from that game. I think BYU is the better team, but I don't know about their motivation.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to take the obvious one. I'm taking Alabama minus the 19.5.
Oh, nice. All right. My next one, Memphis minus 8.5. I think Florida Atlantic's terrible, so I think Memphis, even if they don't show up, could probably cover this game minus the 8.5.
All right, my next one, I've got Colorado plus the 9.5.
Oh, well, guess what? I have Colorado as well, so we're on the same wavelength there. All right, what is your next one?
Next up, I've got the Missouri plus 14.5.
All right, well, guess what? I have the Missouri plus the 14.5 as well.
They're gifting us a lot of points in those games.
Yes, I know. All right. What do you have up next?
The other obvious playoff game, I'm going to ride Clemson minus the 7.
Well, guess what? I have Clemson minus the 7 as well. All right. What do you have next?
Next up, I've got Georgia Southern minus the 5.5.
Oh, interesting. Off the track bowl game. Diving deep. All right.
Yep.
I don't have that one. I have South Carolina plus the 6.5 versus UAB. I won't watch a minute of it, but I will certainly check the score at around midnight to see who came out on top of that game. All right. What do you got next?
Next up, I've got my other Georgia team, Georgia State, minus the 3.5 against.
Oh, riding the Atlanta Pride there. All right. I have Mississippi State plus the 2.5. I'm just riding SEC teams for bowl games. All right. What do you have next?
I've got Buffalo minus the 3.5 versus Marshall.
Oh, the last of your action this year. Okay. My next one is Cincinnati plus the 6, 7.5 or 7 versus Georgia.
I've got Iowa State minus the 4.5 versus Oregon.
Nice. And my last one, I'm going with Auburn plus the 3.5 over Northwestern. Okay, a exciting bowl pick'em show.
I've got one more.
Oh, you got one more. What is your other?
I've got West Virginia minus the 7.5.
Oh God, yeah, I'm making you watch that game is what for picking that one.
I just I don't like the way Army moves the ball. I think West Virginia wins this one.
Yeah. All right. So those are our bowl picks. We'll pop back on after the first set of the playoff games to do some football time analysis of the college football final. And we'll start having you on to talk college basketball as well.
We'll have a lot of games to recap here. I'm interested to see what our head-to-head for all of these matchups are.
Yes, I know. Now one of us has to data entry all these into somewhere. But, yeah, it should be fun. I'm also curious how many of these end up getting played. So we'll see how it goes. But those are our bowl picks. Where can we find you, David?
You can follow me at GLN_D on Twitter.
All right. You can find me at GLNChamp5. Be sure to follow all our podcasts on greenlightnetwork.org, the Drive and Dish podcast, the Know It All podcast, all great shows. We'll start some more NBA coverage as the week goes, and we'll get more and more into college basketball as the football season comes to a close. That's our show, and we're out.